Hello, 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 hello. Why did I say that like that? Why did I do that? Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. We're getting close. Get your shopping done. Only a couple more days. I got to do that. I still got to wrap, but I think I got all my shopping done, so that's good. Anyways, Mark's there in the chat. He says, "Did you go to the Big Rec show?" I did. Yeah, it was super fun. It was great to see Ian. What's my purpose here today? My purpose is to announce officially a series of masterclass clinics that I'm doing next month and January, February 2024 over in the UK in association with Suhr Guitars and Guitar Guitar, a terrific retailer in the UK. So first of all, what I'm doing, classic rock show. I've been going over to England for the last 3 years. I started in 2020, just before the lockdown, actually, just before all that happened. Did my first tour with these guys. I went over there and I had a terrific time playing some of the greatest songs of the 60s, 70s, 80s from great rock bands. I mean, we do everything from AC/DC to Pink Floyd to Van Halen. I mean, across the gamut, the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, it's just all kinds of great tunes. So it's really, really fun. I discovered I really enjoy doing it. It's a group of friends. I became, really fond of everybody there. And it's just a great group of people. And yeah, it's covers, but we do it on a really high level with great production, lights, sound, and really nice video and the whole 9 yards. And it just becomes like a celebration of great music. And we play it at the highest level that we can. We put a lot of time and effort into rehearsing the material, making sure that everything is up to snuff and the flow of the set and everything like that, and just try and make it a really, really fun night and celebration of all this great music that we grew up with. So it's super fun. Now, that's Classic Rock Show, and it's expanding, I should say. Like, it's gone really well. So we're playing 30 shows this year in the UK and Europe, moving to some bigger venues in like places like Birmingham. I think we're moving from the Town Hall, Birmingham Town Hall. It's a classic, legendary, really cool venue, but we're moving from there to the Symphony Hall this year, which is a bigger place. We're up in the production, like the whole 9 yards. It's growing, which is really great. And we've got 5 Europe dates this year as well. So it's expanding into Europe. And then we're also, I think it's 5, it might even be more. And then we're also doing a US tour in April. So it's growing and it's really fun. I just really like it. And that's Classic Rock Show. So I hope you get to catch a show if you're in the UK, Europe, one of the places that we're playing, or the US. Now, last year I was in Birmingham and I stopped in to Guitar Guitar, terrific shop there. They've got stores throughout England in like Newcastle, where else? Glasgow, Edinburgh. I shouldn't say England because I just was talking about Scotland. That's a major faux pas. Sorry, don't hate me. The UK, but yeah, there's stores in England, the UK, Scotland. There's Epsom, which is reasonably sort of close to London. And anyways, I was speaking with the nice guys in there. I'd done a clinic in there in 2019 at their store location there, so I knew them, and I said, we're here every year, and we're in a bunch of cities where, or at least close, where you guys have stores. Maybe we should do some sort of clinic, like some sort of, I'm here anyway. Because part of when you do guitar clinics, it's like the travel and getting there and getting your gear there and figuring out, how to make that work and make it a viable thing. And financially viable, and also a great clinic. So generally you're going to a store or something, which is great. And I love doing those. Going to a shop and you're seeing somebody, and maybe they're playing some of their tunes over tracks or something. Generally not with a band though, because that would be cost prohibitive. You're seeing them maybe on a rig that isn't their main rig, because you're not going to travel around one person with a big, massive guitar rig or anything like that. So you're seeing generally a pared down rig, a couple speakers on sticks, small PA kind of thing. And it's nice. And it's a great thing to see clinics like that. And it's intimate, and you can, be right face to face with people, and it's very beneficial. But I thought, we're here playing all the time with this band. I've got my full rig, big PA, full production, lights, and a band. It's like, maybe we should be doing like some sort of clinic / sound check party situation and bringing folks to the venue actually. And, that would be a different kind of clinic, and a little, because of course, one of the things that I do is I tour. So I've seen these sound check parties and the way that they go, and, VIP kind of things, and how fun they can be and how beneficial they can be, and how it's a real added value, I feel like, to a show. So I thought maybe we should do something like this clinic wise. And so what we've come up with is 6 clinics. So once again, in association with Suhr and Guitar Guitar and Classic Rock Show. And they will be basically like a sound check party style clinic where you'll come in if you decide to go and you can make it to one of the sound checks, and we'll still be, working on tunes and going through things. So you'll see at least a couple tunes at sound check. And we're playing some really, really cool songs this year. So it's like, I will, for sure try and cherry pick a couple of the coolest ones that you can see kind of in the sound check environment. Everybody comes in, sits down. It's limited, by the way, to 30 people per clinic, I think, per masterclass. So it'll be a fairly intimate group. And then once we're done, we're going to open it up to kind of Q&A. And I just think that it's going to be really beneficial and interesting for people to see, because how often do you get to see me there with my full touring rig, and James as well, the other co-guitarist and musical director in Classic Rock Show. He's always got really cool guitars and a rig there, generally Suhrs and some vintage Gibsons and stuff like that, really interesting stuff because he's a vintage guitar nut. And as well as, anybody else that's in the band that you would maybe want to ask something of. Jesse's a terrific singer. So if there's any singers out there, with questions, that kind of thing. I mean, I just thought we've got a full band there, all our stuff, full PA, full lights, like the whole 9 yards. This is going to be a really cool opportunity to do a unique kind of thing for you guitar nerds. So that's what it is. And so we'll open up the floor then. People can ask questions and stuff, anything about my rig or anything about tones. I can show you a bunch of different sounds that I've got there, ready to go with the full rig. And just kind of a really cool one-on-one. And you can kind of see, because we talk about this stuff here every week. I mean, Sunday Live and everything, I'm always here talking and stuff, but I can't really show it like I can at an event like that. And I've done sound check parties with quite a few, artists that I've played with, and I've seen how they do it and how much fun it is, and the one-on-one and just kind of the questions from the audience and how it's just this great, really cool back and forth. It's a different thing when you've got, the benefit of having a real venue there and the full everything. So it's neat. So some other stuff. We're also going to do giveaways. So there'll be, most likely things like t-shirts and pickups and stuff like that we can do some giveaways. So if you go, you're automatically obviously entered in that. And then the big one, the big enchilada, is we are giving away a Sir Pete Thorne HSS signature guitar. So it'll be just like this one, the main one you've seen me play over the last couple of years. It'll be a red one. And so you're automatically entered to win. So there's 6 clinics, 30 people, limited to 30. So what's that, 180? So if you go to a clinic, you get a pretty damn good shot at winning a really, really nice Suhr guitar, 1 in 180, right? And hey, if you go to 2 clinics, I guess you're 2 in 180, or, so I think that it's going to be a really, really, really fun event. So really looking forward to it. So that's what it is. So frick yes, says Matthew. Yeah, 100%. I just think it's going to be really, really fun. And now, unfortunately, I wanted to figure out a way to kind of bundle a one price kind of thing to be able to come to the clinic and also come to the show. We couldn't quite get that together in time because there's a lot of considerations when it comes to ticketing and stuff like that with the venues. So if you want to go to the show as well, that would be a separate, expense for the ticket. But I hope a lot of people come to both and get to see the show. It was also my intention that maybe folks that didn't know about Classic Rock Show or what it is that we do, that are, total guitar nuts, would come and be like, yeah, I want to go see the show as well. So it's just that we weren't able to figure out a way to do that. Maybe that'll be down the road. We'll figure out a way to bundle that, but it's at least it's happening. And I'm just really excited about it. So the links are down in the video description. If you want to, check out down there, click the link and you can see the individual, all the cities that we're doing this in. It's Glasgow. It's for sure Cadogan Hall, London, one of those shows. It's Newcastle, Gateshead. It's Birmingham, I do believe. So I don't have them all right in front of me right now. Sorry, because I'm an idiot and I didn't do that. Or coffee. But you can check it out, the link down in the video description, and see if there's something close to you that you want to go to. So Yes Sir says this might be worth a trip to the UK. It's really fun, man. The other thing about the UK in January, February, I always thought it was going to be like really devastatingly cold, but it's not really if you're used to Edmonton, where I grew up, or even Chicago or something like that. I really quite like going over there January, February. Yes, it's dark, but the weather's not prohibitively terrible. It's 40s, even 50s some days. That's US speak. What does that equate to? 6 degrees, 3 degrees, 10 degrees Celsius, something like that. Can be 10 degrees, maybe not. That's wishful thinking. Anyways. Okay, I'm going to look at some comments here and open it up. And if you guys got any questions, please let me know. There's Peter Urban says, happy holidays from Calgary. That's close to my hometown of Edmonton. Let's take a couple questions here. How about this one? I'm trying to play live covers on YouTube. Is it possible to use a monitor while streaming, or will the mic pick up monitor output and cause distortion in the audio? Yeah, it's probably best to use headphones for something like that, to be honest. I would think that's probably the easiest way to do it, or in-ears maybe. It just gets a little complicated maybe if you're trying to get good quality sound streaming and stuff. And also, yeah, there's gonna be some feedback issues and phasing and stuff. It might get a little weird. Yeah. Guitar was started in Scotland. Well, that explains it, because they've got 2 stores there. I love Scotland, man. I love going there. Edinburgh, especially, one of my favorite cities to always visit. Glasgow's super cool too. And we even get up to Inverness, which is really great. I love going up there. Loch Ness Monster and all that. I don't know if we're playing there this year or not. We might be. All the dates are at theclassicrockshow.com, so you can see the show dates for the European as well as the UK run this year, and then there's US dates as well, and that is down in the video description below if you want to go there and see where we're actually playing. I hope you guys get to see a show, and because it just keeps growing, gets really fun. So. Could you please have John make me one of those dark charcoal sparkle Floyd Rose guitars? Then come play in Fort Worth, and I will buy the guitar from Guitar Sanctuary. we are talking about it, because I put up a photo of that guitar, my new one-off. For now, it's a one-off, but we're talking about. There's been a lot of interest in this guitar, so it is a beautiful thing. It looks black, but then you realize, oh, it's sparkly when you catch it in the light, right? It is a really great guitar. I'm having a lot of fun with this one. It sounds terrific. The bridge does sound quite good too, I must say. Like the block, there's a depth to the single coil that I notice. I mean, all the positions, but the neck single coil, it's just got this like girth to it that's super cool. I'm putting out a video tomorrow. There's a Bad Cat amp sitting right here that I did a video for, and I love the tones I was able to get in. I played that guitar on the main lead parts, and you'll hear it in that. That's the first thing I've done with it, video wise, in this room, session wise, or anything like that. Really happy with that guitar. So anyways, we're talking about what to do about that situation, and maybe make that guitar available. We will see. Okay, what else we got here? This is a nice concept, says David. Yeah, I mean, I love the overall concept for the clinic. I I think if folks come walking in and they're hearing us play a couple of really cool tunes, that's just going to open up the floor to questions right away. Like, well, what was that? Like, how'd you do that tone and that tone? Because there's some really interesting songs we're playing, some great stuff that we haven't done before. And I'll have my full rig there. I'm going to take a 2 PT100, 2 412 rig, just like I was using on the Nick Carter tour recently. I loved that rig with my new parallel setup on my pedal board with the EVH delay and the H90 and all that. So it should sound super duper cool. And I'm just really looking forward to it. I'm going to have some fun. Yeah. Let's see. Simon says booked for Guildford. Oh, awesome. Great, Simon. Excellent. It'll be great to see you there. Fantastic. Will you do something similar with the US shows? If it goes well, I would love to do that. Obviously, this is in conjunction with Guitar Guitar, which is a major retailer that has shops throughout the UK. So we probably we'd have to do it with individual, if there's a Suhr dealer or something in the cities that we're playing, somewhere close. But I would love to move it to the UK. I can't promise, but I mean, we'll see. Of course, we got to see how the CRS people like doing it as well. The powers that be there and stuff, and if they're feeling like it's beneficial and stuff, and if all the stars align, I'm sure we would keep it going because I like doing stuff like this. I love doing some musicians don't like doing meet and greets, don't like doing things like this. I like it, man. I love to meet people and talk about guitar and just get face to face with people. I don't really like doing a show and then being like just isolated afterwards. Like you just played this great show and then you get off stage, you go to a dressing room and you're like all alone. I mean, it can be cool, I guess, if you like that solitude or something. But I love doing that. Like right after the CRS shows, we always do a meet and greet and just talk to people out in the lobby and stuff generally, and it's really fun. I like to one-on-one with folks and chat. So the first year back, I guess we didn't do that because it was like COVID times, stuff like that. So we were still being careful. So in 2022, sorry, we didn't do that. And then 2023 we did again. And it was cool. Jeff says, I have your H8 signature guitar waiting for your HSS model to arrive, and that will be my two main ones. Awesome. Yeah, you can sure do a lot with both those guitars. I promise. If you got a couple of those and then maybe a Les Paul, you got everything. You do. Okay, I'm seeing another question here. Any chance you might do that in the US? Dates? So Jeff, the Classic Rock Show is coming to the USA. If you click down in the video description below, there's a bunch of dates. So we're doing, I think it's close to 20 or something in the US. It's mainly kind of a Midwest, East Coast sort of dates, but it's at least going to be in the US and it's expanding. So we'll hopefully have a great time. So if all you guys come out to the US shows, if you can, if you're close, and that'll help because the US is going to be still a growing thing. We're bringing it back. Over in England, the band generally plays to pretty good. I mean, the venues we play are anywhere from say 1,200, 1,000 people. We do smaller shows in some towns in England where there might be 700 or something like that, or 600, all the way up to 2,500 people. But we're moving into bigger venues this year. So I don't know how big Birmingham Symphony Hall is, but it's substantially bigger, I would say, than the Town Hall, which is like a 1,500 cap or something. So anyways, but that's what's happening there. So it's growing and doing really well. US, it's going to be a new thing. So, it's starting from not the ground up, but because they did come to the US many years ago and do it well before I was ever doing it. But it's a growing thing. So spread the word and please come out to a show. And we'll I'd love to see it just continue to get bigger and bigger. And who knows? Sky's the limit. So all kinds of ideas that we have. Yeah. So let's see. Oh, Brian's asking about my chair. This chair is from Ikea, and I love it, man. It's about $250, and it has no arms, so you can find it. Just look in the office chairs in Ikea, and you'll see it, I think, in there. It's really, really great support, and it really helped my back. I was having a sore back, and it was all because I was sitting in a crappy chair in this room for hours every day. So this was a great gift, actually, and it's been really beneficial. So Ikea, check it out. I really was looking at other chairs for 3 times as much money at like Relax the Back and stores like that, and I was ready to drop some money on a chair, and then this was given to me by Britt as a gift, and it's been just the best gift. So yeah. HP Harley says, cool to see you today. Yeah, I just, I decided to do a special live stream. I'm not going to stay on too long. I've already been on like for a while, but I'll go another, 10, 15 minutes or something. Then I'm going to jet. I've got a live stream today, by the way, with Dave Friedman. I'm on Tone Talk today, where we shall rant about all sorts of things. We decided to have a holiday rant, end of year, sort of bitch fest about things we're frustrated with in the music business. And how it could be better. We'll put a positive spin on it. No, I'm sure we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. But anyway, so I'm going to do that later. And I got a bunch of work to do in the middle. So I'll stay another few minutes. And there's Chris Clarkson. What's up, buddy? A lot of interest in the USA. That's awesome, man. Yeah, we got to do. Chris does. He works with Suhr at Suhr, and we've done mini clinics together in the US. So, if we can sort it out, Chris, to do some of these clinics, this style with Classic Rock Show at the dates in April, I would love to do it. Take a look, Chris, at the, or I could talk to you, I just text you afterwards, but take a look at the dates maybe on Classic Rock Show site. See if any of those cities in April are close to US dealers, because I would love to do clinics in the US as well. At least a couple, that would be awesome. All right, a couple other questions here. Peter says, if you have a choice in your studio of a great load and IR, aux, or a mixed cab in a separate room or ISO, well, my favorite is still miking a cabinet. I just like it. I've got great mics. I've got good pre's. I've got a Dynamount to move my 57 around. It's like it's like just as fast to do the real thing for me in my studio with my cabinet and my mics that are on it as it is to do an IR, pull up an IR loader and search for one I want and all that. I can just literally amp selector, turn on the mic pre, and then I'm playing, and then there it is. And it sounds good generally right out of the gate, move the mic a little bit and boom. So if, the shortest route from A to B is always the best for me. So for many folks that can be IRs. I mean, the Suhr reactive load is actually like a killer. Like if you don't, you're either buying, APIs and Neves, a couple great mics, you got a room to record in, you're running long cables, you're doing all that stuff, or you're getting something like a reactive load, which is a one-stop shop, just easy, boom, plug in, get work done, sounds great. And I choose the reactive load actually quite a bit. Like for instance, that EVH delay video I did, I was trying to figure out a way to show the stereo delay and what the easiest way to do that was and route it and stuff. And, I'm not going to mic up a wet, dry, wet, or I don't have that ability here. That's something beyond my capability, is miking 3 cabinets in this place. So I can mic 1 cabinet, but rather than like route the mic signal to the delay and all that seemed like a convoluted way to show a pedal. So I was like, well, I can take the output of the reactive load, speaker simulated, run it right into the delay input, and then split 3 outputs straight out into my recording interface, right? Sounded stellar. That's the sound in the video for all the guitar parts. So yeah, so something like a reactive load is a killer one-stop shop, I would say. When you're in the UK doing the Masterclass, may I have the privilege to play some of your guitars? Well, one of the things that we were trying to figure out was like a way to figure that out, maybe actually, have somebody jam with the band or something. We couldn't figure it out, to be honest, because there's just certain issues that like liability things and things like this with bringing people on stage and things like that. So, which I didn't even know in the beginning when we got into it, but it was brought to my attention. So that totally made sense to me. But one thing that there's nothing preventing me from doing is coming down and handing a guitar to somebody in the audience. So if you're like, hey, can I check out your guitar for a minute? There's nothing stopping me from going, yeah, sure, and hopping off the stage. And, I'm on a wireless. So it's like, so that might happen. I'm not saying I'm going to do that for everybody. If everybody's like, give me your guitar, 30 people. I don't know if I can do that. But once in a while, I think it might be a fun thing. Also, just that, it's a fun thing for somebody to experience. Like, this is part of the value of the clinic. I feel like hearing a guitar in a big PA, that might be something that not a lot of people get to do. So it is really cool to have like the sound guy push up the faders and hear in a big line array what an electric guitar sounds and feels like, as you're playing. So that might be something that that I could be open to, because it's a neat thing. It's got a real. I love going out front and hearing my guitar in the PA. It's one of the coolest things. It's like okay, amps are one thing, but a big PA and the goosey in the PA, and it's just like, oh my god, feels like you're riding like a driving like a dragster or something. It's really cool. So how loud are you running the 100 waters? What I like to always say is I like to balance around the drummer. So what I generally will do is bring the guitar up to a level where I think it's good, which is generally too loud. But once I jump off the stage and actually go in front, this is when I actually go out front. I'll go out front and listen and hear how much of my guitar is coming off the stage, and then also how much is in the PA. Because often sound people are like, hey, the guy, Wes, that was running sound on the Nick Carter tour I just did, he was very cool to work with, because he would never be like, you're too damn loud on stage, you need to turn down. He wouldn't say that. He'd be like, through the PA, he'd be like, Pete, you should probably come up front and just take a listen. And I'd jump off the stage and I'd go out and listen. He'd be like, because we weren't carrying PA on that tour. Some tours you carry all the stuff, the desk, the power amps, the full PA, and they hang it every day and stuff. But often on other tours, a sound person might carry their desk, and that's it. And you're working with whatever's in the venue. So there were certain days where he was literally dealing with like, a sub on each side and a small EAW speaker or something, like in some of these places we played. Like he had and he's a great sound guy. But he had a nightmare of a time with some of these PAs, because it's like, well, that's all I got. So I would always compensate by not trying to not play too loud. If he's like concerned, hey, you should probably come out and listen. That meant generally like, it's a little loud coming off the stage, and I can't even really put you in the PA to have a balance. So I'd go out and listen and go, okay, I get it. And then I'd go up, turn down, go back out and listen. He'd put it in the PA and I'd listen and be like, okay, that sounds good. But given that there's a great PA every day and all that, what I like to do is generally balance around the snare drum and the bass and and then go out front in the first few rows and listen. And it should sound like a great garage band coming off the stage. That's always what I think. Like, this is part of what we'll rant about tonight on Dave's show, but I miss the days of like where it was just like everybody brought their Marshall head and 412 to the band practice or to the gig, and that's what we used. It was like, I got thinking about the 80s and the 90s the other day, when it was like, well, I just showed up with a cabinet and a head every time. That's what we used, and everybody had one. You had to have one. And so we all had a considerable amount of like, reasonable, hopefully not too crazy loud, but some volume, right, on stage. And how bands, how we would play. And we'd all kind of balance around the drummer. And then the PA was just the extra and the vocals and everything around. I'm talking about playing small clubs and, the little things and stuff where there wasn't a big old PA and stuff, That's how bands sounded. And I miss that, So that's how, and so that's what, certainly with Classic Rock Show, we at least try and do is like at least sound like a great garage band when the PA is not on, volume wise, just balanced with the drum kit and everything. Then you bring in the PA and it just fills in around that. But that basis is always there. So that's the volume. If that makes sense, that's what I try and come up to. Not drowning out the drums or super loud, but just like balanced with the whole band playing at once with an acoustic drum kit that you can't actually, the guy plays the way he plays. That's what you balance around. So, yeah. Hopefully that makes sense. Come to sunny South Florida. I know we're going to Florida. I don't know about South Florida, but we'll at least be in Florida with Classic Rock Show. Not sure everywhere, but there's at least 2 or 3 dates. So check it out and see if we're close to you. It's going to be a fun time. Let's see. Some more questions here. A few. How do you like Badger amp? Looking for something with a little more oomph. Don't know if I can wait for the PT50. I mean, I like the Badger a lot. It's its own thing because it's it's a little bit of a softer sounding amp for sure. Just the nature of the way it's voiced, it's cathode bias and stuff. But a Badger 30 is with a good distortion box can sound pretty barky. If you watch the video of me playing with Sebastian Bach and Steve Stevens in 2011 or something, or 10, whenever it was, we played some dates at the like a week at the Iridium or 4 nights or something like that in lovely New York City. And we did a bunch of, Aerosmith and Van Halen and stuff like that, and just had some fun. It was it was like a supper club, the Iridium, classic venue where Les Paul used to play and stuff. But it was funny because we were playing hard rock in there. But Steve and I both used Badgers with distortion boxes for gain. I remember using a Carl Martin Plexitone. It sounded pretty cool. It was like really good with the overdrive box that way. So anyway, PT50 coming as soon as possible. Roscoe says he's waiting for it. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Yeah. We'll be watching CRS on Saturday and then doing the masterclass on Sunday in Gateshead. Tickets already booked. That's awesome, Jonathan. I'm happy you're coming to the clinic and happy you're coming to the show as well. That's super cool because maybe you'll have some questions about the night before. By the way, you'll see our first show, so go easy on me because it's going to be the first night in Gateshead. So in other words, we're doing 2 nights there, and then the clinic we decided to do the clinic. So the opening night to the tour, and we decided to do the clinic the second day because the first day there will already be enough to worry about with it being the first show and everything, So then we'll do a clinic the following afternoon and do a follow-up show. It should be fun. Yeah. I've looked at the Bella too, but I prefer amp overdrive to pedals. I do too generally, but there's some great pedals out there. That said, I think there's some terrific pedals happening these days. But I my favorite is always the amp doing the work. Bummer, no California dates. No, not yet, but hopefully soon. Classic Rock Show, which is based in England, CRS based in England. They've got other shows that they do. For example, they do Rumors of Fleetwood Mac, which is a killer Fleetwood Mac show, basically. They play like 50 dates in the US every year. They come over and they do. I saw them in Anaheim. So there's, plenty of room is what I'm saying for it to expand and there to be more dates, hopefully, maybe next time. I'm just happy it's happening in the US, if there's any dates, because they've been talking about doing that for a long time. And since I joined, and it hasn't happened yet until this year. So, yeah. Okay. What else we got here? Let's see. When you expand to Portland, Oregon, I'm sure we'll find a good size venue for you. Love to do it there in a theater of some sort. When we do a Suhr LP style signature guitar, well, I play the Aura for my LP style signature guitar, so they already did it. So I am actually using it's a gorgeous guitar. Whether or not they make more at some point is, they did 100 and that was it. It was a limited thing. And I love that it was a limited thing, the way that they did them and stuff, because John finished every single one. He made 100 guitars. I mean, he didn't make but he finished every single one. So in other words, all of the fretwork setup, literally hand dressing all the frets and everything himself, the nut, cutting it and do it. He did all that stuff on his own. So on 100 instruments, that took a really long time because he doesn't rush, he takes his time on everything. So the thing is, it's just not really, plus Gibson is a little more litigious and there's always issues with them, every single little thing. So that's just how it is. So is the juice worth the squeeze, but I think that he would love to do something in that vein. I always think like Gustafson was great. They made a beautiful, kind of look more like a Telly style body. But it was clearly, 59 Les Paul, and it was beautiful guitar. So something like that. I'm like, why don't you just switch it up and do your own thing and then figure out a way to do it in production? It's just, they're constantly back-ordered in making guitars that they already make. So it's like it's a thing where it's like it's a quality problem, where it's like, well, do we have the room to even expand at this point and make more of a different kind of thing? Because we're already, we're cranking right now, making moderns and all the signature guitars and the classics and the standards and everything that they do. So it's like, there's always we've talked a lot about this, but the room to expand and the desire to expand has to be there. Because do you really want to Like why the guitar industry always has to be this growth, like get bigger and make more and more and more and more every year and more. We need to sell more. It's like, can't it just kind of sustain at a nice level and be, I kind of would have liked it, I guess is what I'm getting at. If Charvel, for instance, would have just stayed a Sam Demas kind of custom shop. Always, you know, that's Tom Anderson, you know, always at a level where it's like, you know, you got your 14 employees or whatever, and you make great guitars and you just do that and just continue doing that. And it's like, it's kind of cool. It's always when it, you know, has to, I'm not saying that's what you're saying. You're just like, make a Les Paul, but I'm saying the bigger picture is like the room for expansion. That you need more people, you need more equipment, more, you know, that's part of it. My niece Hurt says that chair is the, and I'm not going to attempt to pronounce that, but it's now $369 US. Yeah, I think it was 200 something when I got it, but yeah, it's for that money, it's a great deal, man. I mean, it's like literally I remember looking at chairs that were $900 and relaxed the back, and I was like, well, I guess this is what a good chair costs. Gonna have to do it, and lo and behold, this was every bit as solid, at least I think so, as the ones I was looking at. So hopefully Classic Rock Show can make it to Australia sometime in the clinics. I would love to do that. I've only done one clinic in Australia, but boy, I had fun there. Maybe you were there in Canberra. Did I say that right? Canberra. I'd love to take it, you know, to all the way from Perth to Adelaide to Sydney to, you know, Brisbane, all over the place. I enjoy going to Australia for sure. Yeah. Let's see. Gosh dang, says Christian, the closest USA East Coast state is 2 hours away. Please come. You know, we'll make it fun. I promise. We will make it a good time. Sorry. All right. Let's see here. What else have we got? Does Eddie Van Halen mic his cabs with AEA ribbons? I don't think so. Not that I know of. I mean, it's possible he was using different mics. I always just knew him to use 57s, but not really sure about that. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Johnny says, you're nicer than I am. I don't usually have anyone play my stuff. On a side note, I'm left-handed, so good luck playing my guitars. I generally don't mind, man, if people play my guitars. I think it's kind of fun. You know, check it out. You know, I would do that at clinics, you know, and people seem surprised. I would be like, here, check it out. And I just hand them my guitar when I was playing, you know, any of the traditional style clinics that I've done before. I don't mind if people check it out for as long as they're not, you know, got gooey hands or whatever. I guess how do you know? But you know, I really don't mind. I think it makes it fun. I mean, I think it's more important the trade-off of, well, maybe somebody gunked out my strings. It is that you got to change the strings after sound check, but the trade-off is worth it because I just think it's a cool idea. Like I'd love to, you know, hand my guitar to somebody with a cool sound and hear it in the PA kind of thing in the big, you know. So I don't mind doing that once in a while. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna do it all the time, but I think it'll be fun. So yeah. Let's see what else we got here. I think you're asking about me. Has he done any vids on Engel amps? I think I've done videos for Engel Savage Synergy module. That's the closest I've come to doing an Engel video, which I quite liked, by the way. And I know people that regard Engel amps quite highly. I know Friedman really likes the Engel folks. I think that they make great stuff. I mean, from what I've heard, at least in the Synergy and what I've heard people using, you know, they seem to be really cool amplifiers. So and sound different than, you know, the typical, like, whatever, you've got your sorted Marshall voice, modded Marshall. They're like a different thing. They got their own, like, kind of grindy, like, really cool, you know, thing going on. So anyways, what else we got here? Can someone put a link where he's going to be live today on YouTube? What you mean, me? You mean where I'm playing live? All the links are down in the video description below, like as far as the clinics, as well as all the dates of the tour are down. You can click the links for Classic Rock Show as well as for the individual clinic links. Sorry, I keep clearing my throat. Got a little something going on today. Let's see. Do you use standard tunings on all your guitars? No, not necessarily. I mean, most of them, but generally speaking, there's always drop D, or I got to change a tuning for a key or something. Last year we did the Chain by Fleetwood Mac. That's a dadgad. Or dadgad? It's just double drop D, not dadgad. But double drop D. So you never know. Sometimes I play an E flat, for some things. So yeah. HP Harley says coming to the Oakdale Theater in Connecticut. That's awesome. We'll see you there. Have you ever tried the Grunge FX DoD pedal? I think it's a sleeper. That thing sounded really good back in the day. I haven't played one for a long time, but I remember it. Have you ever heard of anyone using an electrostatic speaker PA system? No, not that I know of. I don't know what that is. Okay, let's see here. Excited, says Saito S9 for the Glasgow Clinic. Great to get back there. We didn't play there last year or the year before, I don't think. Only the first year that I did classic rock show. So it'd be great to get back to Glasgow. Really looking forward to it. Yep, gonna be fun. Yeah. Lauren says, I've always been afraid to ask you to try your guitars. Oh, dude, I don't mind at all. Trust me. Totally cool. Please. Feel free. Let's see. Doesn't the new dude in Deep Purple use Angle? I think Steve Morse used Angle, didn't he? So he played a Deep Purple. But I'm not sure about the newer guy. What else we got here? Let's see. Eddie Van Halen used AEA R44 ribbon in combination with an SM57. I've never heard that. I mean, maybe he did in the studio or in recent years. At times, I know he used 421 sometimes, but I mean, even the times that I was at his studio, I never saw a ribbon. I must say, maybe he did live. I don't know. I just don't know. I know the classic, Van Halen 1, Van Halen 2. I mean, it's 257s. So if it's the older records we're talking about and stuff, I don't think there was ever a ribbon mic involved, unless you got some info that I've never heard. And I'm a pretty big Eddie Van Halen geek. But yeah, I mean, I've been up to, I was up at 50 when he was there. And it was like you could go in the live room and see. And of course, I would look and, you'd see cabs, and generally it was a 57 and usually dead center and like right up on the grill or sometimes no grill cloth, and that mic was stuck almost touching the speaker. That's how he did it on a routine basis. But that's what I saw. Yeah. Okay, well, I should probably go pretty soon, guys. But any more questions about let me know if you got any more. Here's an interesting question, actually: how to get Satar sounds from a Mobius or H9. The closest way to get a Satar that I ever found that sort of sound was sometimes you can get not really, but if you do a flanger with it stuck, and I can't remember the settings right now, but like a stuck flange could kind of do that resonating thing. It's got a resonance to it because of the really short delay time, and it's mixed back in, and it's got a little bit of feedback, and it kind of has a little bit of that weird sound to it, but it can also sort of sound like a steel drum. You ever hear the sound at the beginning of Houses of the Holy by Led Zeppelin? I don't know how he did it, but that kind of like really nasal, that can be stuck. You can kind of get that with a stuck flange. What I would do, to be honest, is probably pick up the Satar pedal from Electro Harmonics and use it for that, because it's pretty cool. It's definitely got a neat kind of sound to it, and then you'd have that specific thing. I know you got to pay more and then get another pedal and add it, but if you really want that thing, that's probably the way to go. Yeah. Have you used the aux stomp yet? I have not. Haven't tried that. Yeah. Haven't, but you could add that. It says considering it after my Suhr reactive, which I love. Yeah, you could use the unfiltered out on a reactive load and go into the aux for more cabinets and different, some variety. That'd be fine. I haven't tried it though. I assume it's probably pretty similar, the cabs, to the full size aux, which works well. The cab sim. Which guitar is going for the giveaway? So for those that are just kind of tuned in late, I was saying we're giving away. If you come to the clinics, you're entered automatically to win one of these, which is, it'll be exactly like this. It'll be a red PT HSS signature standard. And look at that thing. Look how beautiful it is. I love this color, man. The when you catch it like that. Sometimes Suhr posted a picture of it today and it was more like this. And I don't like the seeing the light on the front as much as when you see it like this. That's what I like. When you can just see that, like where it's like the red, mostly red, I love that they posted it though. Different people like different things in photos, but I like to just I like to see the red with just the edge lit up. That's some nerdy stuff right there. Oh boy, what else we got here? Let's see. Let's see. Check out interview with AEA founder talking about Eddie using his mic for the room sound on album, mainly on drums. Correction. See, that's different. I mean, they used different mics, but for example, like you've probably heard the leak of all the Van Halen stuff that came out, and Eruption, just the room mics, right? They had a pair of U67s or 87s or something up in the room, and that sounds amazing. Who knows? Some of that stuff could be on the records, stuff like that. But close mics on amps was always generally 257s or a 57 and a and a 421. I think sometimes he would use 421s. I saw a picture yesterday, actually, in the Lozauer book. Somebody gave it to me for a gift of that. It might be San Francisco, maybe the Day on the Green show or something in 78 with Van Halen. There was 2 421s on the cabs live. I know he used 421s. Actually, I have one of his 420. We traded microphones once, and I got a 421 from him from 5150. I gave him my Heil PR20, and he gave me in return a 421. It was kind of cool. I'm like, oh, this might probably used on like Toms on 5150 or something. Oh no, I guess the Toms were Simmons on that, but you know what I mean. Kind of neat. It was a nice trade. I'm like, yeah, I'm happy to give you this for 5150 421. Anyways, I'm down at the bottom of the chat, and if you can think of anything else, please let me know. And otherwise, I'm going to go in like 5 minutes here. I'll stay on until noon, and then I'll split. What's your new guitar neck profile? It's kind of, they call it a soft V. Some people feel it, and they're like, I don't even feel the V. It's that soft. It's quite a soft V. It's just like a nice, slightly thicker than my old neck. Because some people used to say on my original, that the neck, it was even C slim neck. Some people found it small. I don't really find it small. I just feel like it's a nice Strat style neck. But I thought, well, I like different necks. So I had this green Suhr that had a slightly wider nut. It's a 1 11/16 nut, or 1 5/8. This is slightly wider at 1 11/16. And the neck profile was really great. It felt a lot like my old 64 Strat, actually. So really, really similar. So just a nice C, but down low, there's almost a little hint of a V, like below the 5th fret, just a little bit. Like it was like somebody was sanding the, it's always the shoulders on the neck that I find on nice older necks. There's a little less shoulder, just a little often on Les Pauls too. That's a thing. Like, the newer Les Pauls have really big, like almost like a big C or D or something, lots of shoulder. The old ones, they all have this like nice taper to them where it can be just as thick, but then like the sides are kind of tapered a little more, So that's what the neck feels like. 1 11/16 width, almost a hint of a V below the 5th fret, and then just becomes a really nice C after that without too much shoulder, but with some girth to it, What sort of rig are you bringing to the UK? It's going to be, all tubes. It's going to be, so if you come to the clinics, you'll see it's 2 412s, 2 PT100s. I might even have 3 PT100s, just to have another one stacked for a backup. I like that look. I saw Lukather's doing that. He uses those Bogner, I think Helios heads or something, but he's got 3, you know, kind of in a triangle, and then 2 412s. So it might be that. But yeah, basically it's stereo 412s, you know, stereo heads, and my full pedal board rig and everything in parallel. So it'll be killer, and you'll get to hear that at the clinics if you come on out. Yeah. Wolfcone asks, anybody dealing with imposter syndrome? I mean, we all do. I deal with that. It's like, why does anybody care what I do? You know, but yeah, I think that's a normal reaction to, you know, it's a healthy thing, imposter syndrome. It's like if you're feeling like you've made it and you're the greatest thing, those are always the folks that seem like they don't work that hard or maybe kind of mediocre. You know what I mean? If you're always striving to get better and you're always feeling like I'm not there yet, then you're really always trying to push and do your best, you know? And so I try and view it as a positive thing, you know? And you just sort of have to act as if until and just always do your best. That's the best you can do. And, you know, you hear about, you know, great artists often will say, like, I got off stage and, you know, I thought I had a terrible show, but everybody came up and was like, that was awesome. That was the best show I've ever seen you do. And you're like, what? Didn't you hear how bad I sucked? It's a common thing, you know? So know that it's, I think it's a healthy emotion, actually, for, you know, artists to have, you know, because you're always pushing to do better, you know? So HB Harley says, you have yourself a merry little Christmas. You too. I appreciate that. Happy holidays, everybody, and Merry Christmas. So I'm going to stay on another 2 minutes and I'm going to split. Let's see. I finally had a chance to play your signature guitar, the double humbucker one, gold top, blown away, fantastic cleans, Fendery, dare I say. Awesome. Yeah, I love the clean sounds on it. The split sounds work really, really well with the Thornbucker pickups. Really good. Really good. Agreed. May I ask you if your black pre-signature Suhr Classic had Thornbuckers? Yes. And it's the standard Thornbucker set in that guitar. Before we did a plus or anything like that, because we made the pickups right at the same time, or the pickups actually came out first, I think, before my signature, as I remember. So yeah, it always had those pickups, always. Yeah, it's interesting. I actually, for the first time, I used a different pickup in the Floyd Rose guitar. I said to John the day I was going to pick up. I said, should I try the pickup you really love, which is the hot one in the bridge, you know? And he said, I love that pickup. I'm addicted to it. So I said, should I go SSH or SSH plus? And he said, just get the plus. So that was John's recommendation. It's his favorite pickup. It's his take on kind of like a JB style humbucker, a hot, you know? And I thought, why don't I have one with one of those? Because it's kind of fun, you know, for shred and for... And it's a great pickup, and it's got a darker kind of tone to it. It's definitely, you know, it doesn't have that open clarity that a Thornbucker has or whatever, but with high overdrive, it's fun. You know, it is fun. And then I guess I can always knock it into parallel. So it's a different sound. You know, I've got my red one for the classic stuff and for the, you know, the PAFE more, that output. And then I got the other one for the darker, more mid-punch kind of thing that it does. And it's very focused sounding with gain. It sounds great into a plexi, like driving the front end of a plexi. It's a good, really good sound. So it's a nice to have an alternate. You know, I did that in that guitar just for kicks. Does the compressor come first or Freakout in the signal chain? My Freakout comes before my compressor. Yeah, it does. Just because the Freakout wants to see kind of the direct output of the guitar. I actually, you know, post compression, a Freakout would probably work quite well because the signal is compressing, so it'll hold it a little longer, and that'll help the Freakout kind of probably sustain. I don't think that'd be a bad thing, but I just put the Freakout as being the. Let me see. It's on. I'm looking at my board right now. I've got 3 pedals that aren't in a switcher. The Unit 67 is on the board now as my. I always put a boost or a front end kind of kick that I can just turn on if I just want more juice in the sound. I put something like that there. So that's Unit 67 right now. The Freakout and my wah. All those come first before the switcher. So guitar goes into the board, then hits those three, then goes into the Musicom Lab switcher, and the first loop has my compressor in it. So that's down chain from all three of those. Yeah. Everyone is their own worst critic. Well, some people aren't, but they're generally the ones that maybe aren't that great. You know, the ones that I think I'm good enough, or I'm great. I'm great. I'm whatever, you know, and it's like, actually, you know, you're not that critical of yourself. That's just always what I find, you know. It's the folks that are beat themselves up a little bit. That's just part the nature of an artist, I think, sometimes, that truly is trying to always forge ahead, you know. Some of the best, you know, I mean, even, you know, Eddie Van Halen, you know, we've talked about him a little bit. He could beat himself up about, you know, I saw him play in 2012, and I remember in Oakland, I texted him after. It was a great show. It was awesome. He's like, I just couldn't get anything going tonight, man. I didn't feel like I was that great. You're Eddie Van Halen, you know. It's like, it was awesome, you know. And you would never know, you know. But everybody, you know, we've got our own take on. Maybe you make a small mistake or something, or a big mistake, but even to the crowd, you know, it always never comes off as big as what you think it is. That's a good thing to remember, you know, unless everything really falls apart, you know. But generally speaking, you know, you miss a couple notes or flub the end of, you know, you got to remember, a lot of people aren't necessarily even listening just to you. They might be talking to their friend in that moment or something, or getting a beer, or like, you know, they're focused on the drums or something, and in the mix and with the reverb and the PA and everything at a gig, you know, it always comes across better out front than it did on stage, you know. We're also, so this is one of the things that drives me crazy about in-ears. I was talking to Jordan Ziff about this the other day, how it's like, he's an amazing, you know, young guitar player, and like, he's like, yeah, man, it's like, so like right here, and he goes, I play different. I go, dude, you're speaking my language. I know it's like anxiety provoking when the guitar is right here, you know, and you can hear every little pick scrape in there. I don't even want to hear myself that well when I play live. I want to be mixed in with the band and have a little bit of, then I'll play into the guitar a little harder naturally, because I can't quite hear it as well. So you tend to play a little more aggressive, and you don't hear every little thing that can then freak you out, you know. So a little bit. So that's one of the things about in-ears that drives me nuts. But Braxall says, you see EVH on tour with this guitar cable that stuck way out. Yeah, he didn't want to use a wireless for a long time, and so he had because he liked the sound of a cable, I guess. He just felt like wirelesses were affecting, you know, his sound being buffered right out of the guitar, probably. And so he had this stick that would keep him from tripping on it, because I guess he felt like he was, whatever he would do to move, you know. That's why he had it. It would just stick out from the guitar and would hold it away from his feet a little bit, you know, and then he could move around more, and it kind of solved that problem. But that's how he was. He was always trying to, you know, solve things and do unique little things. Eventually he went back to a wireless. I remember actually conferring with him on wirelesses, because I had switched to AKG, and that was around the time that I was getting to know him, and he was asking me about AKG. I hooked him up with the artist rep from AKG, and they got him one. And he was trying to use it, but he was having an issue with the ground loop, because like with most wirelesses, there's no ground lift coming out of it. So he'd be like, man, this thing buzzes like crazy. And I'd be like, oh, you're not lifting it. I remember having a whole conversation with him, like, you need to have Dave Friedman build you a little ground loop buster, you know, like an isolation transformer box or whatever. And then he hit me up like the next day. He goes, man, that magic box fixed everything. You know, and I was like, awesome, that's good, you know. But then I think he ended up going with Suhr anyway, because he actually ended up using this was 2009 or 10 or 11 or something, but he liked the Suhr analog wireless, not the digital one, because he would boost the gain coming out of it a little bit in the front end of his amp, and he liked that sound. So it was almost acting like a clean boost. So that's what he ended up going with instead of the AKG. But anyways, he did go back to wireless. Can you recommend an overdrive to use with Eventide micropitch to get Van Hagar tone for a home rig? Yeah, I would say the 5150, to be honest. I mean, I had pretty great success with that pedal sounding like the Van Halen sound. I think if you watch the 2 videos I made for it, check out the 5150 overdrive and run that with a micro pitch, and you should be really close if you need a pedal. They were basically copying the channels in his, where the overdrive sound on channel 2, I think, of his 5150, you know, the original gen 5153 amplifier. So have you tried to translate and transpose Shakespeare on the guitar? I haven't done that, Chris. And with that, I think it's time to go. We're getting silly now. So everybody, I hope you come out to the clinics in England. If you are in Scotland, I hope you come out to the clinics in Scotland. If you are just in the UK, I hope you come see Classic Rock Show. We have a great time. It's going to be a really fun event. You're automatically entered to win if you come to the clinics to win a Pete Thorne signature guitar. It's a 1 in 180 chance of winning. It's pretty good odds for a really nice US custom shop built guitar. There's going to be other giveaways and stuff, pickups and t-shirts and stuff like that. And just kind of a really, really fun hang, I think, in a unique clinic sound check party environment. I'm excited about it. So thanks, Guitar Guitar. Thanks, Suhr, for being great partners in this. Really looking forward to it. Thanks, CRS, for getting on board and being a part of the whole thing. I think it's going to be really fun. Can't wait. All right, you guys. Have a terrific Christmas. Have a terrific holiday season. And I will see you soon. Still not sure about the 31st, by the way, but Christmas Eve, no Sunday Live this week. So just so you know, I'm taking Christmas Eve off. I'm sure you all want to hang with your families and stuff and not think about guitar and gear. Or maybe you do, but I'm not going to do it. So this week, 1 week off. I'll let you know about the 31st. If I'm going to do it, I'll put up a watch page or I'll put up something in the week after Christmas, letting you know whether or not it's happening. And everybody just have an awesome time, and we'll see you in 2024, if not on New Year's Eve. Okay, rock on. Thanks so much.